Good morning, everyone, and welcome into our sanctuary. They've closed the doors, and so we are now have a moment to go into the silence of our own mind. And welcome to our online people, the people on signed up to YouTube. The silence of your mind as well. Close the doors of wherever you are and allow yourself to simply be present to this moment. And so as you breathe in and use the breath to relax everything and to shoo everything out of my mind that may be cluttering, because I know the power, the presence of Spirit, the divine is always there. I visualize it as poised and ready, open, receptive. And the most amazing thing is that Spirit in its infinite being is receptive to all of creation, all at one moment. What an awe-inspiring idea. And so what I know in this moment is that infinite intelligence, that one mind, absolutely is able to hear my own voice in the silence, knowing that all is well and that everything that flows from this moment is for a divine purpose, for the enlightening and uplifting of my own soul and my own being. And it's up to me to simply allow that infinite power to do what it does so well. And in deep gratitude for this moment, for the moments to come that are filled with wonder, I simply say yes and know that it is done. I agree and say, and so it is.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning, Mary.
You know what time it is? We're going to stand and sing. We're going to release and we're going to let go.
You gotta let it go.
Let it all go.
And this is what you have
to say. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life. You're getting it? And my heart is open wide. 'Cause I'm only here for God. There's no more struggle, no more strife. And with my faith I see the light. Yes, I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. And I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. There's no more struggle, no more strife. And with my faith I see the light. Yes, I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life. Yes, I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life. Hey, I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Awesome. You did great.
Yeah.
Now we're awake. We're going to invite Maureen up to share our announcements with us.
Good morning to all, both here in the sanctuary and those on our YouTube channel. Today, September 25th, our speaker is Reverend Catherine McKinney, or as those of you may know her, I call her Reverend Mama. There will be Sunday hospitality in Richelieu Hall after the service. And today is also the drumming circle at 12:30 in Richelieu Hall. This rhythmic experience is growing in participation. Check it out to see what it is all about. And there is a flyer outside as well. The recorded discovery class is available. You can email the office for a link to the video, and you can check the front desk for details. And if you're not yet a member, that is the way you can become a member, is seeing that video, watching that class. And New Member Sunday is October 9th. And you can speak with Reverend Mary in the foyer after service to sign up for New Member Sunday. The annual meeting is October 16th, and active members may attend. You see the trend we're going with this, like we want you to become a member so you can go to the annual meeting and participate in that. Here is what is happening this week. Reverend Kathy's book reading is Tuesday, September 27th at 10 a.m. The book is Giving God a Good Time by Dr. Pat Campbell, and you can check your program for more details as well. The yoga class meets Tuesday, September 27th in Richelieu Hall at 11 a.m. Bring your mat, and the cost is $10. Learn to Live is a book reading on Zoom on Wednesday, September 28th at 9:45 a.m. The new book is Learn to Live by Irvin Seal. It is a new thought interpretation of the parables of Jesus, and you can email the office for a Zoom link. Our next Wednesday morning service is September 28th at 11 a.m. here in person or on our YouTube channel, and our speaker will be Reverend Catherine McKinney. Looking ahead, a one-time balance class is being organized, taught by Dana Lumiere and Monica Ruth. There is no date set yet, but you can sign up outside to get information and be informed when a date is set. The New Member Sunday and breakfast for everyone, Sunday, October 9th. That is 2 weeks from today. This is the first time in a long time we've had a New Member Sunday, so we don't want you all to miss it. A Science of Mind class, Revealing Wholeness, begins October 8th. This class is an exploration of the practical and healing applications of Science of Mind principles for everyday living. They will be using the book Mind Over Medicine, and there is a flyer in the foyer for more information as well. We take this moment to remind you that there are several ways you can donate to our center. We appreciate your presence here today, and we thank you so much for your messages and your important financial donations to our center. You can sign up for Amazon Smile, naming the center as a beneficiary. It's easy to do, and we thank you for considering that. And as a reminder, you can always dial a prayer at 310-540-5242. And new prayers are posted every Wednesday. And now for a very special treat, our singer, Jody Siegel.
Morning, everybody. It's been so long. How have you been? Now the bigger the hair, the closer to God, the wider the frame, the more you got to love, more to love. The darker the berry, the sweeter the juice, the kinder the heart, Oh, the looser the goose and more to love. So what you gonna do? Some choose poison as a remedy. Some see a champion as the enemy. More than anything money bring, we're better off when there's more to love. More to love. Now the faster the race, the stronger the finish, but the slower the pace, the longer the minute. If you're in it for more to love, so tell me what you're gonna do. 'Cause some choose poison as a remedy. Some see a champion as the enemy. More than anything money bring, we're better off when there's more to love. Smoothing out the rough spots, love. Clearing out the bad thoughts, love. All the have and have-nots, they need a whole lot more to love, more to love. Now the higher the mountain, the broader the view. But when you're down to earth, the more likely you'll run into a whole lot more that you can love. So tell me what you're gonna do. Some choose poison as a remedy. Some see a champion as the enemy. More than anything money bring, we're better off when there's more to love. More to love. More to love, yeah. See, it's a win-win, love. So let everybody in, love. Improve your condition, love, with some hugging and kissing.
Thank you, Jody. Good morning. Today, Reverend Catherine's talk is Work is Life. Now, you might remember a 1980s comedy, Working 9 to 5, and the movie had a theme song with the same name written by Dolly Parton. There we go, here we go. Now, wait, hold on. Some of the lyrics are, and I promise not to sing, but Andy's given us the background, are working 9 to 5, what a way to make a living. Barely getting by, it's all taking and no giving. They just use your mind and they never give you credit. It's enough to drive you crazy if you let it. I look like Dolly, don't I? All right. Isn't that what most people think about the word work? As a chore, as labor, as something I have to do. Eric Butterworth, one of my favorite New Thought teachers, was a popular 20th century unity minister, author, speaker, and a radio personality.
He says in his book, Spiritual Economics, think of your work not as a place to make a living, but as an opportunity to make a life. That's the idea behind the question, do you work to live, or do you live to work? In the Science of Mind philosophy, we speak of 4 pillars or 4 main areas of life, those being health, wealth, relationships, and creative expression. Eric Butterworth says, life is for expression, for growth and expansion. No matter what your job or chosen career, your true business is the express business, the business of releasing your imprisoned splendor. Creative expression might be our career, it might be our job, but it's also our hobby, our life passion, even if we don't receive a paycheck for doing it. Ask any artist. Creative expression is more than the work we do to pay the bills. Creative expression is all the deeds and activities we engage in that contribute to the betterment of life, to the upliftment of others. Work is the many ways that we serve, inspire, benefit, and bless others in our unique, individualized way. So work might be less about the what and more about the how we express our inner splendor. Is there joy in the giving of ourselves? Is there passion in our work? Are we unfolding a divine urge to grow, expand, and be more? If so, then our creative expression is in alignment with the meaning of work that Jesus was speaking about in John chapter 14, verse 12 of the Bible. Truly, truly, I say to you, whoever believes in me will also do the works that I do, and even greater works than these will he do. Please repeat after me. I lovingly release the splendor of my innermost being. It's a mouthful. I am enthusiastically expressing my talents in rewarding, fulfilling, and creative ways.
Fulfilling and creative ways.
And so it is. Now we have our congregational song.
Our thoughts are prayers, and we are always praying. Our thoughts are prayers. Be careful what you're saying. Seek a higher consciousness, a state of peacefulness, and know that God is always there. And every thought becomes our prayer. Our thoughts are prayers, and we are always praying. Our thoughts are prayers. Take charge of what you're saying. Seek a higher consciousness, a state of peacefulness, and know that God is always there. And every thought becomes our prayer.
What's our prayers? Take charge of what you're saying. We had the between class shortly before we began our service, and someone brought up those words because it came up in the conversation we were having in the between class. And isn't it the truth? I love Monica's talk about work and life, and Eric Butterworth's ideas are always true to me. And work is life is something that I think we grow into an idea. Someone actually responded, someone in the office said, well, I don't like to think of my work as my life. Well, I said, it depends on how you define work, doesn't it? And it's like, well, yeah. If you do think of it as just a job, just as Monica was talking about, a place where you got to get this paycheck in order to whatever it is you do with that money, then it may not be something you want to think of as your life. Is it something to get over with at the end of the day? And I think it is something so much more than that. Work, as I mentioned a few weeks ago, is an activity which uses your strength or your faculties in order to do a thing. It doesn't have to be a job. It can be. But our lives are about doing activities, using our faculties or our strength or both of them together in order to creatively express, as Monica was saying, the true person that we are. Indeed, I think that one of the reasons that people go to religion, if you will, or a spiritual teaching is to find meaning, to find purpose, or to discover what that purpose is, and to find some sort of identity, and to have a sense of belonging. I also believe that when your mind is on something, it is a prayer, and it happens to me all the time, including this week. I've been thinking about work as life and all of these things so much because I've actually, talked about it for most of the month. And so what happened? Well, of course, I attracted into my experience this wonderful talk that was on NPR as I was driving in. And what the person who was speaking had been exploring, the moderator was interviewing someone who wrote a book called Work, Play, Code. And so what she had done was to go to Silicon Valley, and she researched a whole lot of people, asking them about their work. And she was really struck by some of the things they told her about their attitude about it, their enthusiastic attitude about it. She details this one man who immigrated essentially from South Georgia. He was an evangelical Christian. He was fervent in his faith, and he moves to Silicon Valley, and he works and then eventually has his own startup, and he is so enthusiastic about his work that he's turned that zealous faith and fervor that he had for his religion back home, he's turned it into his quest for an IPO, to have his own company. He has that kind of fervor that helps him find meaning and purpose. And he can recognize who he is and how he expresses. And so in the doing of this, he doesn't even bother with that anymore. His new thing is his business and his work. And so when asked about, well, what about belonging? If you're the one at the top and you're doing all this, he says, oh, I get together with other CEOs and we have these great meetings. And he goes on to talk about how he has this community that brings to him all of the things he's looking for in the quest of that one big thing. So in the talking about all of this, the moderator, or the author of the book actually, was saying that she began this whole quest by noticing statistically, our country for quite a number of decades has been doing annual surveys that ask people, a sampling of people presumably, what, among other things, what their religious preference is, what religion. And so they give them boxes to check. Well, in 1990, 8% of the population checked none. And then we move forward into more recent times, say 25, 30 years later, it's moved up to 25%. So a lot of people in organized religion, and I've been reading articles about this for quite a while, that there are a lot of people who are called the nuns because they check the box that says none. Nuns, and what are they doing? So that's a question. And so she's thinking, well, it could be that it's work. That's what they're doing. And that's part of her whole research of her book. The moderator of this talk goes to someone on the other side of this country. And she's a mechanical engineer. And she is also in school pursuing some other things. And she's very interested in science and wastewater and nanoplastic particles in water. She does history of all of these activities. She does research. She's in the lab. But she also dives and goes into the water. And the moderator says when she talks about that, she just goes into this awe and wonder. And she is excited about what she does. She has that fervor, she has that purpose and sense of belonging. So the moderator asks her, what is it that you do? I mean, you're doing this in isolation. You're doing all of these things. What is that? And she said, well, I do have colleagues, and we come together, and we talk about all of these things. We support each other. We encourage each other, and we have all of these activities that we support and want to do. We want to create systems and create inventions, if that's what's necessary, to make the Everglades better. And what she said, too, is that when I read and study, I learn lots of things. When I'm in the lab, I really know things and see things under a microscope as well as through my testing. She said, but when I go into the water and I look and I see all of it, she said, it's a spiritual experience for me to see the interconnectedness of all things. That is what fuels that energy to help me to move forward and make all of this better. So as we think about that, I wonder, what does this all mean? What does it mean? And I think about the nuns, and I think about what they're doing. I don't think they're all working. And getting it from that particular idea. When going back a few years, I filled out some paperwork to be registered, I think that would be the term, as a minister at hospitals so that it made it easier for me to get in to see people that I wanted to see as a minister. So when it came time to check a box, I had to say what religion I was, because all ministers will do this. I had to check none as well. Now, in the case of the hospital, they allowed me to fill in a blank. But I have a feeling on that survey there's no blank. You're a nun or you are one of the other choices they give you. So I've been thinking about those nuns, as have many people in our teaching, because this teaching is not a religion as such. And so what do we mean by that? Loosely, yes, because it's a spiritual teaching. And if we blend that together, then that is what we see. But one of the things that distinguishes us from many of those other boxes, if not all of them, is that we don't say, do this, this, and this in order to be one of us. We don't have any, thou shalt not, thou shalt not, thou shalt not. What we have are principles that we teach and that we want to help everyone to embody, but they're principles that are beyond the time of the 95 years that religious science of mind, has been in existence, because that's how long it's been since Ernest Holmes published his first Science of Mind textbook. 95 years. And in that period of time, we've evolved in the names that we call ourselves for a lot of reasons, political reasons, and what people think about names. But on that parchment, it says, I am a minister of religious science. And so that is how I identify, that I've passed all the little requirements and all the things that need to be done in order to be that. But the idea is that we share the principles of this teaching that Ernest Holmes established, so as a groundwork, as a framework, from there to move out into finding meaning and purpose, an identity for ourselves. And the center that we find ourselves in is a place of community. Now, the interesting thing about all of the work that Carolyn Chen, who's the author of the book, did, at the very last, the comment was, she did all of this before COVID. So I wonder how many of us who enjoyed work and got all of that fulfillment from that lost something when we were not able to be in community. Many people enjoyed that particular period of time. Don't get me wrong. It was a time to take a break and not have everything being so helter-skelter. But as it evolved, I find that many people longed for community, for that sense of belonging in the physical sense. And that is what centers like this provide. And so whether you are online, as we have wonderful people online, that you can feel a part of a community, or whether you are needing and wanting it to be in person, is a choice that everyone gets to make. And so in finding that purpose, I had to think about all of these jobs that she talks about, work that she talks about, and finding that meaning and finding that. And I wouldn't for a moment take that from the folks that have that fervor for that. So what happens when the job doesn't seem to do that for you? I have a story that was told to me, and it involves someone whose job involves being paid by voluntary payments. You know, you've heard of table servers are an example of that category. There are many others. This one is slightly different, but it's the same thing. Now, I have waited tables in my time. I actually was eager to do it. For some reason, I wanted that experience. I was in graduate school when I started doing it. And what I know from that experience is, see, you're always going to have people who not only tip a little bit, they almost give you an insulting tip. I won't even give you examples of that. But there is a feeling that can generate from that feeling of some sort of a token. And that isn't a good feeling. So what happens, what do you do with that? Well, the story that I'm telling you is what one person did with that. In this particular case, the poor remuneration came in the form of singles, maybe even wadded up singles, as well as mixed in with the 20s and the 10s and the 5s, because all of that money just went into a pot to be taken home, and then it was separated. But the feeling of those wadded up singles was not a good one. So what this person decided to do was not even count those singles, to move them to its own special bucket. This is the money that I've made from the people who appreciated what I'm doing, and count that. So when the bucket of the wadded up singles got to be quite full, okay, well, let's count it and let's do something with it. So it was extra. It wasn't in the budget. It was something for fun. So they counted the singles and they decided to do something fun. And so then it became a source of joy. So there wasn't any of the attachment of I'm being rejected. That's what it was. From those, they just go into the bucket. And eventually, the bucket started having a goal of something really magnificent to look forward to. And that was even better. That's one person's way of doing it. And see, each of us has a choice at how we receive whatever negatives we get from things that we do that are creative. And that is a delightful story. And I like that. I also know that as a practitioner, there were many people who came who didn't like their job, or they didn't like their boss, or there was a worker at work that was a problem, and it was clouding things. And so it's the practitioner's job in that case to try and sort out from the person exactly what it is that's truly bothering them. And that's a different thing. Yes, you treat for the whole person, but it's also a bit of counseling in there where you just ask questions. How do you feel? What is this? What if that? And help someone come to the place where they at least understand that part of them that's responding. And then the treatment follows. So it is, and it's a variety of things. It's not one thing. So I came to that idea that work has meaning when individually each of us put meaning into it. And there's lots of kinds of work. I mean, I call it work if I clean out a toilet. I call it work when I deal with the trash and the recycling. And is it yucky? Is it something I don't like? Or do I see a bigger purpose in doing that? Because that's a choice in what I do and what I bring to it. Because everything has meaning that I bring to it, even if someone else brings something different. And of course, it keeps coming back to our thoughts, our prayers. Be careful what you're saying. And so labeling an activity in a way that doesn't serve you. And so recognizing that in the moment gives us a fantastic opportunity to just change. Because every moment, we have a choice on how we proceed from that point. And we could just let go what we just said and know that this is how I'm going forward, whatever that is, and we get to decide. I had a wonderful experience that it was really just knowing this person involved that had a deep experience. There was a couple who wanted to celebrate their 25th wedding anniversary. And they belonged to a community that knew each other well and cared for each other. But a few of them had moved away. So the husband decided he operates a pizza truck as a living, and he does events, and so he runs into a lot of people in his work. And so he made a deal with someone, maybe more than one someone, in order to organize this magnificent 25th anniversary celebration for the people who are far away. He traded so that they had a Tuesday night, and a Wednesday to celebrate in this particular place, and it had amenities, it had cabins where people could stay. So those people who were coming could come and stay in community as they had been once upon a time, celebrate this joyous occasion. And then one of their group, an older person, had a tragic accident and was killed in an automobile accident. They were gobsmacked. It was tragedy. And so it seemed to spoil the whole occasion. And then, because all of these people, I believe, have meaning and purpose in their life, they quickly came to the idea that this is different. So they came together and they prepared this man's body even for the memorial, and they had it for him as part of their whole celebration. And they realized that what was a tragedy turned out to be a gift for them. They were able to assist his family. They were able to support each other in their grief. And they were able to come together in a way that might not have happened. They still had the wedding ceremony in a more subdued manner, but they totally recognized the gift that was in what happened. And it's all part of the work that they do. And they grew to a level that they would probably said, I'll pick that in a conscious way. But that idea is what unfolded from their experience. I think that is a profound, profound experience. And it happened in a way that simply unfolded. And my own experience is that sometimes things just happen that are not part of the plan, but they just happen, seem to just happen. But what I have personally learned is that it is my job to take what is and handle that to the best of my ability and do it with love and joy and enthusiasm. I also believe that meaning, purpose, and our own identity, which is something that we all seek. Voltaire said if there were no such thing as God, it would be necessary for man to invent one, because we are born with that questing idea. Who am I? What am I doing here? I can even see it in the budding granddaughter that I have. I have seen series of pictures from her 1 week picture all the way to her 1 year picture. And you see the transformation of the body. And she's now walking. And so she's not just transforming in the body. All the time, how she relates to the world is happening. We are all doing that, not just in that first year, but always. We don't see the transformation physically so often, and so, but not like a 1-year-old, but what's happening to us. And are we participating in that in a meaningful way? Or do we get to some point and say, okay, I got this now, I'm just going to sit back and not change anything? That's not what life is about. Life is about keeping on doing it. Life is forever changing. I'm changing. All of us are changing. And so is our environment. And how do we live in that? But the one thing that we have to know is that meaning, that identity, and purpose doesn't come from out there. It always has to come from within us. I express the divine uniquely as I express the divine, as do all of the individuations of expression. And each of us we have that access, we have that way to touch the divine within us, and we can spend time with that and allow ourselves to simply be inspired by what comes. It works for me. And I invite everyone to know that it works for you and to practice that, to be that, and to do that. And so as we come together with this idea, I want to invite you to say with me, repeat after me. There is one creator. And I am in the one creation. I am of the one creation. I have within me the power to be a divine expression of God. I am grateful to know that I can choose in every moment exactly how I want to be. With joy, I am grateful for all of the opportunities that come to me. So I simply say, and so it is. And so it is. Thank you so much for being here today. And so I believe the ushers will be coming in. I have one thing down here that I didn't bring up to the podium. In our mission statement, we say all of the things that I mentioned in the talk. We honor your presence, we nurture your spirit, and we do enrich the lives of all we serve. It's our mission to do. And so when we do that, we like to hear from you how it is done for you. And this is one. I have been coming to Redondo Beach Center for years. I might have lapses in my Sunday attendance, but I have taken classes for years, as well as many activities, and I've volunteered for some activities as well. Recently, I've been participating in some of the discussions, both online and in person. That is one of the most rewarding activities I've been in. I love hearing what others have to say, as well as listen to the teacher. Please keep doing this. Well, I think we do intend to keep doing this, and thank you for the letter. So as you take your gift for us and hold it in your hands, and you can say with me, divine love consecrates my gift. It goes forth to heal, to bless, and to prosper all those who give and all those who receive. I rejoice in the sharing of my good, and I release my gift with love. And so it is. And now, we're going to hear from Jody Siegel again. Thank you.
How's everybody? I'm going to do another song off my new record, so if you all have any interest in taking me home with you, so to speak, I have some out there. I'd appreciate it. This world keeps trying to bring me down, but I ain't listening to those crazy sounds. I got my own frequency, oh, got my own moves. Ain't nobody gonna mess with my groove, no. Wild hearts can't be broken. A wild heart, it beats inside of me. Wild hearts, whoa, need to be free. See, I wasn't made in no assembly line, and I might have an attitude, but at least it's mine. Yeah, but I'll keep trying to reach you. I'll even meet you halfway. But push me too far, I don't want to play no. Wild hearts can't be broken. A wild heart, it beats inside of me. Wild hearts, whoa, need to be free. Free to be whoever I wanna be. Whatever is calling me. Whatever is calling me. Got nothing to lose, yeah, but everything to gain. Spirit like mine can't be tamed, no. Wild hearts can't be broken. A wild heart, it beats inside of me. Wild hearts keep on growing. A wild heart, it beats inside of me. Wild hearts, oh, me to be free. Need to be free. Yeah, talking about wild hearts. Wild hearts. Yeah, yeah. Dun, dun, da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Da, ba, da, 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 da. Whoa, spirit like mine. Yeah, yeah. Thanks for having me here today.
Thank you for being here. And thank you, Andy, for all of the swanky keyboard stuff. Someone is here for the first time today, and I don't know if she made it into the room. We have a child care person for the first time today. Her name is Laura Salazar. Did she make it in? There she is. Okay, come on down, Laura. You can just be right here. We don't have a lot of light back there, so right here. Laura is here, and she is going to be here every Sunday. And so those of us who have children or know people who do, Laura's here to take care of those kids. And so we're really excited to have her. Thank you very much, Laura. Thank you for being here. And she had some volunteer help over there today as well. And so we will continue doing that and making all of that work. Another thing, I just wanted to, a couple of things that were in announcements, but I want to reinforce. One of them is in 2 weeks, we're going to have that breakfast, the new member breakfast. It's in honor of the new members, but the breakfast is for everyone. We haven't had a breakfast in a while, so I am hopeful that we are going to really have a great time over in Richelieu Hall with that as we celebrate our new members. And I encourage you, talk with Reverend Mary out in the foyer, sign that. I know some people have told me they were going to sign up, but I didn't see their names on that board. So make sure we know who you are, because we have special things for you, and we want to be able to do that. Finally, I want to emphasize the balance class that we don't have a date for, but we're just waiting to see all of those who do want to so we can pick out a time, because it's a one-time thing, and it's such an important thing. And Dana has just volunteered to do this and enlisted Monica, who's a physical therapist, to support all of that physical things. And that's a really good thing. It is a very good thing for our physical well-being. And so finally, I wanted to share something. One of the things that happened in the last week that took me by tremendous surprise was that Dr. Sue called me to say she was not going to be able to be here today. And she had planned and had looked forward to it. So she has written a letter, and rather than try to explain anything, I will read that to you. She's explaining, as she says, her disappearing act. I awoke this morning thinking, but today I was supposed to speak at Redondo and see Moira. Instead, I'm in rehab after a pedestrian being hit by a car on 9/11. What's up with that? She said. In this time of different introspection, what is apparently clear are 2 things. Without the rock of science of mind as an anchor to my entire life and deepest knowing that this too shall pass, I don't honestly think I'd be adhering enthusiastically to the regimen required in order for me to move forward. 2, watching my 3 children show their love and do whatever it takes to encourage my continued progress causes me to pause and truly feel compassion for all the many without an inner rock or a family. And then she says 3, please notice the order in which I offer this, from the inside to the outside. Please keep knowing God is I am. Love your neighbor as yourself, and see me once again delighting in being in your presence, celebrating the joy of a spiritual lifestyle, loving blessings galore to one and all. From Dr. Sue. She is such a blessing to all. And when she first told me about this, I texted her something like, I know that you are impressing all of those nurses who are thinking, oh, she's not going to be able to do that at her age, because what they don't know is that you are ageless. And indeed, Dr. Sue is. So with that in mind, we are going to offer our blessings to Dr. Sue, to Dr. Moira, to the world. And most especially, we need to know it for ourselves as we say the words that are, there they are, coming up on the screen. I know divine love enfolds me. Divine light leads me. Divine life lives in me. Divine wisdom inspires me. Divine compassion expresses through me. And divine power protects me. All that I am is Spirit's life and expression. It is good and very good. With deep joy and generosity filling me, I go forward now in sacred service, supporting a compassionate world that works for all. I move through my days in grace and ease, in peace and love, in health and wellness, in fullness and plenty, and in loving relationship with all. What I now know for myself, with blessing and in deep gratitude, I know for all life. There is only God. There is only God. There is only God. So let us rise and sing that glorious peace song, knowing that it does begin with me. And here we go.